Hello and welcome back to another video from Average FPL. Today we're going to preview the weekend ahead and how my team is looking going into it, potential changes either through transfers or subs, and who to captain. So on the screen right now is my team from last week. I'm not a fan of using the wildcard so early into the season. I can see the value in it, especially if your team isn't playing or you want to increase your team value, but I'm fairly happy with my team, so I won't be using that here as an option. I'm interested in jumping on players to increase team value, as it's something I've never normally focused on, but right now I'm making the decision whether to transfer out Tierney. 5 million is too much for a defender playing in a team with two tough fixtures and the team's looking out of sorts. So I have a few options to go with. I've got the option to bring in the cheapest defender I can and have funds free to upgrade elsewhere, but that would likely leave me with only 3 playing defenders, including Kyle Walker, who isn't guaranteed playing time. I'd love to double up on the Man United defence. I really like their fixtures going forward, and getting in someone like Maguire or Varane, who's sure to play, looks really good in my eyes, but unfortunately I'm priced out by that unless I take a hit, and I don't really want to do that at this stage. Another option would be to bring in a defender from Leicester, and that looks reasonable with upcoming fixtures minus the Man City game. And there is, of course, the option to do nothing and let a transfer roll over to have more flexibility next week. I'm very aware that Arsenal's fixtures after Chelsea and Man City look really favourable, and they were a reason that I had Tierney from Gameweek 1 to begin with. It's not like Man City and Chelsea fixtures have come out of nowhere. I knew they were there when I selected him. I'm more reacting to the performance against Brentford, and I'm aware that in the past I tended to stick with players in these sorts of situations rather than taking them out, and that meant that they detracted from my team's performance, and I kept them for too long and didn't swap them out as quick as I should have done. So all that being said, I've thought about it and I've decided to make the change and bring in Thomas from Leicester. So I can really easily bring Tierney back in a couple of weeks' time if Arsenal are looking more solid by then, and I want to try and be more reactive this season. So that's sorted out. And in terms of who I'm playing and my bench order this week, I've got this week's team on the screen now. So in goal, it doesn't really matter. Watford away at Brighton, I have both goalkeepers, and I feel there's a reasonable chance at a clean sheet there. With the defence, I feel like all of Leicester, Man City, Man United and Everton have a good chance of a clean sheet, though I do feel Leeds away, with them wanting to bounce back from last week's heavy defeat to Man United, leaves me inclined to put Digne on the bench. Plus favourable attacking fixtures for my midfield and attack, combined with the addition of Leeds' crowd back, really just consolidated that decision to put Digne on the bench this week. Another team wanting to bounce back will be Villa, and their game at home to Newcastle gives me hope that Buendia could give some attacking returns. Liverpool at home to Burnley looks a good game for them. The only question mark there is whether Jota will start. The hope for me is after his goal last week, Klopp may ride the wave of keeping him in the team, which could lead to him being a more permanent fixture going forward. He'll no doubt get rotated at some point, but for now I'm going to keep him in my lineup. Fernandes again is an obvious choice to be in, which leaves me needing to bench one of Tony, Mbeumo, Calvert-Lewin or Wilson. After game Week 1 goals last week, I want to stick with Calvert-Lewin and Wilson. I feel Wilson has the better fixture, but Calvert-Lewin typically has a good start to the season. The first slot on my bench, therefore, is between Mbeumo and Tony, and that's a shame, really, because I feel Crystal Palace provide a really good fixture for Brentford, and that game really means that I wouldn't be surprised if either of Tony or Mbeumo got attacking returns. But as Tony's on pens, I'm going to start him and have Mbeumo as a first sub. Dinier's the second sub. He'd come on anyway if any defenders didn't play. So that's my reasoning for the bench order there. And finally, on to captaincy. My rule this season is to not overthink it and go with the obvious choice. Salah and Fernandes both fit this train of thought. Man United are playing Southampton, who I think will really struggle this season, but Liverpool are playing Burnley, and Liverpool are the home team, whereas Man United are the away team. And I'll be captaining Salah again this week. The first league game in front of the home crowd for Liverpool will surely boost them and add an incentive to get goals. So that's my team for this week. Good luck with your second game week. Let me know what you're doing and what you think of my changes. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.